this video, we are diving fork first into a rodent, an Ecuadorian delicacy. We're walking the line, literally, at the equator, sampling craft beer at a local brewery, testing Ecuador's national hangover cure, for science, of course, having some wonderfully odd encounters with locals, and we're roaming around like someone chasing something, but then not really anything at all. True or false? Quito was the first city in South America to declare independence from Spain. I mean, sure, you could Google the answer, but then you might miss out on some Quito knowledge bombs that I'll be dropping along the way. But for the correct answer, stick around till the end. Welcome to Quito, the capital city of Ecuador, and the oldest city in South America, where walls spill blunt truths, hills paint the skyline, warm smiles embrace you at every turn, and a bold yellow line divides the planet into two halves. If you are a first-time visitor, like I was, I will be sharing with you what you can expect upon visiting, and some tips to navigate this stunning city. If you're a native or a seasoned visitor, well, I may just add more things to your Quito to-do list. My goal here is simple, which is to provide as much information as I possibly can, along with all my learnings, and I will also be putting in links and other stuff in the YouTube description below to make your journey smoother. I want this video to be your one-stop shop, so you don't feel the need to go on and look for another Quito video if you plan on visiting. Okay, I've talked enough, let's go. Okay, so getting there. I flew out of my home airport, DFW, on a very early flight, but I missed it for reasons fully disclosed in this video. And so I failed, in typical Saudi fashion, and failed miserably because I was supposed to fly out to Quito last night at 5 a.m. But my ass was out there partying, celebrating my wife's birthday with a couple of friends, and got home super late. Had an hour to spare, so I decided to take a power nap, which turned out to be very powerful, and here I am 5 hours later, missed my flight. About to jump on one at about 12, but yeah, anyway, so I'll see you from the airport, but here's me sipping some coffee, killing time, playing with some drone settings. Talk to you soon. It was 3-ish hours from DFW to Miami, and then 4.5 hours from Miami to Quito. And I am finally here. I landed at Mariscal Sucre Quito International Airport, named after the Ecuadorian independence hero, Antonio José de Sucre. The airport's modern and was surprisingly calm, with customs being a breeze when I arrived. Naturally, I grabbed my duty-free tequila and a bottle of rum, because why not? And because I also like to share. First ever touchdown in South America. I find myself in this vibrant city called Quito. Quito is the capital of Ecuador. Quito is known for some of the oldest markets in all of South America, and it is actually the oldest capital in all of South America, and has a couple of UNESCO heritage sites. So I'm looking forward to showing you around as soon as I can figure out my itinerary. Me missing the flight this morning cost me about 6 hours of roaming around, so that threw a bit of a wrench in my plans, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. First thing I did was get me a rum and a tequila. That should last me about 6 to 7 days. But yeah, I will see you soon. Let's go find my Uber. I then headed out to the main street to catch my Uber. Yup, the same Uber app I used back in the States. No updates needed, just ready to go. More on my Uber ride in a sec, but aside from Uber, there are plenty of other ways to leave the airport. Rental car agencies are located just outside the arrival hall, so you can easily pick up a car if you prefer to drive, and driving is relatively safe in Quito. For a more traditional ride, the official taxi stand is right outside the arrivals area as well, with set rates to different parts of the city. If you are looking for more affordable options, there are buses that run from a nearby terminal, providing services to various parts of Quito, including the city center. The buses are a great budget-friendly option. I've known some people that have taken it, they loved it, and tickets can be purchased at the terminal. Additionally, you can opt for private car services, or book a pre-arranged shuttle, or go the taxi route that I just mentioned earlier. You can go ahead and Google that because there are plenty to choose from. The Uber ride to my Sheraton on Avenida República de El Salvador was a pretty quick, maybe around 30-minute ride with some traffic, and I think I paid around $26 to get there. The Sheraton I was staying at is located in the area called La Carolina, which is known for its parks, and it's also a hub for shopping, dining, and entertainment. It's also close to the financial district and a mall, making it a very prime location for both business and leisure travelers. But then here are some other neighborhoods where travelers typically stay at, each offering a different vibe and experience. Let's start with La Mariscal, 40 minutes from the airport without traffic, known as the Gringo Quarter. I know, funny, huh? La Mariscal is bustling with nightlife, restaurants, and shops, and a lively, popular spot for backpackers and tourists looking for a vibrant atmosphere. There's the Historic Center, aka Centro Histórico, about 45 minutes without traffic from the airport. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is where Quito's colonial charm shines. Got cobblestone streets, old churches, scenic plazas, and a bunch of food. That's the other option. Okay, things got pretty heavy, so here I am resting on a corner. With my shopping bag and, hold on, my cool pants, my beer, and somebody almost dropped off some money until I told them I wasn't homeless. But yeah, this is the vibe of the most beautiful city I've visited in a very, very long time. La Floresta is another option, which is about 40 minutes from the airport without traffic. It's a trendy, artistic neighborhood filled with cafes, galleries, and small boutiques. You also have El Batán, which is 35 minutes from the airport without traffic. It's known more for its residential feel, and it's more of a quieter stay with access to parks, shopping malls, and good dining options. Then you've got Cotocchoa, if I pronounce it correctly, which is about 50 minutes from the airport. It's a little further out, and it's more catered to nature lovers. You have access to parks, hiking, and more scenic views of the surrounding mountains. Okay, let's talk money. Ecuador's official currency at the moment is the US dollar. Surprising, right? I know. This was adopted in the year 2000 to stabilize the economy after a period of hyperinflation. Now, I was amazed to find out that the currency over here, the base currency over here, is US dollars. So I'm going to be spending in US dollars. The former currency's name used to be sucre, and it was, when it ended, it was 25,000 sucres was 1 USD. More to come on that as I keep reading. You're going to pay in US dollars for things, but then you might get centavos back as change. That's kind of normal, so be expecting that. The primary reason for this drastic change in currency was to curb rampant hyperinflation that was practically crippling the Ecuadorian economy. By adopting the US dollar, Ecuador was aiming for and got some economic stability by restoring trust in its monetary system. I won't lie, one of the things I enjoyed most about my Ecuador trip was that I didn't have to do any mental math marathons to convert currencies in my head. So, you know, that adorable alpaca sweater that I almost got, well, I didn't have to decipher whether that was going to be the equivalent of a week's groceries back here in the States. Now, major hotels and restaurants do accept credit cards. You will need to have cash if you eat at small, homey restaurants. Local street artisans accept only cash, so if you plan to shop, come prepared. Note that most small shop owners cannot change large bills, so you should make sure that you have plenty of $1 and $5 notes. And here in the following screen, you can see the approximate and average cost of everyday items and how much they may cost you. Quito's economy, like much of Ecuador's, is a blend of old and new. The city pulses with energy from tourism, commerce, and government activity, all fueled by its status as the nation's political and cultural capital. It thrives on services, trade, and agriculture with a heavy focus on exports like flowers, oil, and bananas. Yes, very delicious bananas. But with its booming sectors come stark contrasts. Quito's modern skyline rubs shoulders with its historic barrios, where income inequality is very noticeable. The wealthy live in sleek high-rises in very posh neighborhoods, while just a few miles away, a couple of blocks down, the city's poorer neighborhoods wrestle with the realities of unemployment and informal work. Politically, Ecuador has seen its share of instability, but Quito remains the beating heart of a country that is in constant flux, where revolutionary ideas coexist with centuries-old traditions. As the capital, it's home to the government's core, but then also to protests, political movements, and a fair share of chaos. Ecuador has a colorful political history, populist leaders, and a deep divide between the rural and urban areas. Though relatively stable now, the city still feels the weight of its political past. Language and music. Well, so Spanish is the main language spoken in Quito, and apparently locals say that it's got a very clear and distinct dialect. Not like I can tell. Anyway, but then you also have Quechua. Quechua is an indigenous language still spoken in rural areas, and it's less common in the city itself. English is spoken in touristy areas, but it's not as widely understood in everyday settings.
¿Qué tiene churros? Qué rico, ¿ves? So there's this Italian artist that does these huge faces all over Quito. This one is interesting.
So having a basic grasp of Spanish can make things a little easier for you, so you can go ahead and get a new best friend. First name Rosetta, last name Stone.
Having my late lunch. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Quito's music scene is a mix of traditional and contemporary styles. You'll hear pasillo, an Andean folk music, during the day and some by night. Then the city comes alive with salsa, reggaeton, and marimba. I also heard some American pop here and there, as well as some Nigerian music here and there, which quite frankly is taking over the world because it's so cool. Anyway, I digress. The music is a reflection of Ecuador's cultural diversity, with modern rhythms blending seamlessly with indigenous influences. Whether you're in a cafe or on the streets, music is an integral part of the city's vibe. When packing for Quito, bring layers. Here's why. The city is on the equator, but it's also high in the Andes, so temperatures can range from chilly mornings to hot afternoons. Expect a mix of sun, rain, and clouds throughout the day, sometimes all within the hour. One moment you're looking for your beanie, the other moment you're trying to get rid of it. Quito weather will keep you on your toes. All right, things to do while in Quito, and this is a very, very concise list, but here we go. Mitad del Mundo, the middle of the world monument. The entrance was $5. You can stand on the equator, 1 foot in each hemisphere, just like every single tourist does. You can visit the monument, learn quirky physics experiments like balancing an egg.
Nobody take my selfie, but Mitad. Alright, well, let's go find a bathroom. Too many beers already. Gives a whole different meaning to walking the line. Salud. An estrella salute to you. Officially center of the world. See the yellow line behind me? And a very good spot to place a church. Iglesia.
Also a very cool brewery here, where I had a flight before my real flight back to Dallas.
¿Qué tenemos aquí?
Tenemos
Dígame.
una Belgian Golden Strong,
Ok.
rubia, ligerita, refrescante,
Sí.
10% de grado alcohólico,
¿Sí? 10% aquí.
10%.
Ok.
Una Punky, cerveza a base de calabaza.
Ajá.
Tenemos una Golden Ale, ligerita, refrescante, súper suave de 5.5 grados de alcohol.
¿Sí?
Tenemos una cerveza especial de cerveza Mitad del Mundo, una cerveza que solo la hace el museo para Mitad del Mundo. No vas a encontrar
¿Qué tipo de cerveza es?
una Irish Red.
¿Qué?
Una Irish.
Irish. Ok. Muy bien. Gracias.
Eso, que lo
¿Y
disfrutes.
cuánto va a pagar?
Serían $7.
7. Ok. Te voy a dar cash.
Okay, this
Tell me
is
your name.
Blaine's.
Blaine?
Yes.
And you're from Los Angeles, California.
Near Los Angeles, yes.
He knows you kayak, guys. He knows you kayak. That's a big
No,
deal.
all in California.
All right. Tell me more about your.
This is
your,
a cane
production.
sugar made out of cane sugar.
Okay.
This is basically a rum, like the 151 rum. I make this here.
Cheers.
Salud. Made out of the brown cane sugar. We dry it, it gets fermented, we roast it up, and we come down here and drink beer.
Like that. Thank you. Salud.
Salud.
You could also explore Quito's Historic Center, aka Centro Histórico as the locals would know it, where you get to wander UNESCO's first World Heritage Site with stunning plazas, colonial architecture, and breathtaking churches. And sometimes you're gonna come across some really cool live music and some dancing.
My little sister was right. By the way, she spent, I think, a month over here. I'll tag her. Maybe she'll correct me. But she was right for once. The city is truly magical. Magical. Enchanting, I promise you.
There's also Teleférico, I hope I can say it right, which is a cable car. And that's where you get to ride up the Volcan Pichincha for panoramic views of Quito and beyond. It's a great spot for a light hike, photography, or just soaking in the Andean scenery. You've also got the La Ronda Street, which is known for its cobbled street style, full of artisans, local crafts, live music, and street food, perfect for evening exploration. Then you've got El Panecillo and the Virgin of Quito statue. It's an iconic hilltop statue for stunning city views and a glimpse into local legends. It's also a great spot to admire the sprawling layout of Quito. You've got Parque La Carolina, where you get to escape the city's bustle with a visit to an expansive park in modern Quito. While you're in the area, you can explore local markets like Mercado Iñaquito, I hope I correctly said it, for a mix of culture, shopping, and fresh produce. And if you are short on time or not, I would highly recommend a Quito food tour. I have listed a recommendation of Bondabu tours in the YouTube description below. Make sure to check that out. And this is the perfect segue to the next section of this video, which is the cuisine, because Quito's culinary scene is vibrant and unique. Here's why. In Quito, or Ecuador in general, food is a way of life. I saw that locals love dining out, relishing traditional dishes like encebollado, a zesty fish stew perfect for any time of the day, especially when you're nursing a hangover.
Hangover miracle drug soup. So I got me some tuna, there's some yuca in here, onions, other spices. As you saw, mustards and oils and some other things were added. Some people add popcorn to this thing. I'm not gonna do that. And the broth is not fishy. It's extremely rich. You got lemon, onions, other herbs coming together.
Have you tried it on your hangover?
Yeah,
It works?
we all do it. It's like a thing.
Really?
Yeah. If you go like, for example, January 1st, the only food places open are of encebollados. Because
Wow.
everyone is hungover.
There's also cuy, the legendary roasted guinea pig, which is as much of an experience as it is a meal, which I found just all right, and it tasted a lot like rabbit. You'll also see that seafood holds a special place in the local palate, with fresh, flavorful options appearing on menus citywide and in markets.
I did not think it was such a big fish.
The market cat is like sort of like this. Like this. It's not a food.
Yeah.
Street food reigns supreme with crispy empanadas here and there, and along with other street food snacks that you're going to come across for sure. Markets are also a treasure trove of exotic fruits like naranjilla, granadilla, taxo, and a whole bunch of other things that I've never heard of. But they were delicious. And Ecuadorians are very big on fresh fruit juices. Ecuadorians love getting their drink on, whether it's just fresh fruit juices or if it's juices mixed with other stuff. Other popular drinks are also chicha, you've got canelazo, aguardiente, and I saw a whole lot of beer. All right, general tips and lessons I've learned that you may not get from another video. Here we go. Acclimate to the altitude. It's a little high up there, so stay hydrated, don't tire yourself out, eat light, drink light, the altitude may hit you. Use trusted transportation, like sticking to licensed taxis, ride-hailing apps, or pre-arranged transport, especially at night. Dress in layers for reasons discussed earlier. Leave behind valuables in the hotel's locker room, like the original passport. I personally walk around with a copy of my passport and my state ID in the event I need it. I also leave my expensive gadgets back in the room and take out only what I need for that particular outing. And of course, my partial cash stash also remains in the hotel room. And of course, for Quito, make sure to take out some small denominations like 1, 5s, and 10s in the event that you need it. And then, of course, avoid isolated areas, avoid non-well-lit areas, and stay vigilant like you would anywhere else. Final thoughts, here we go. Quito. It's a city where cobbled streets whisper tales of mystery, and local guides unveil hidden delights behind every corner. It's mystically harmonious, where the warmest smiles meet a unique style that'll make you forget about those touristy cliches. Sure, being a guinea pig might not be your best incarnation choice, but the city has its way of pulling you into its culinary wonders and vibrant culture. From its enchanting lights to its blend of ancient history and modern flair, Quito isn't just a place you visit, it's one you experience, and it leaves a little bit of its charm with you. Oh, and to answer my original question from the beginning, Quito is the first South American city to gain independence from Spain. It declared its independence on August 10th, 1809, marking the start of what is known as the first cry of independence. Audience family, you could be anywhere, but you're here with me on my journey around the streets of Quito. Thrilled to have shared this experience with you, but there is much more to come. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Cheers and adios.